IQ. We're kicking off today with Nye, who's going to be talking about operationalizing Gen AI, and he will be taking questions at the end. So let's save up our questions and make sure that we have a really great conversation. So over to you, Nye.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Nghi Ho. I'm the head of data and AI platform and data governance at Gilead Sciences. I'm very excited to be here today, and thank you very much for making the time to be here, and thank you very much for your interest in this topic. Now, given that you're here today, let me ask you a question then. How many times have you sit in a room and be wowed by a Gen AI solution demo, seeing that it can do magic for you, and then you imagine that the product would be ready for usage in production just tomorrow, okay? And then come to realize that it's going to take months and months and months. And if you're lucky, you're going to see that in pilot mode. If you're not, you would never see that again. Okay. Happened to me several times, almost 80-90% of the time. Okay. So, but what if I tell you there's a different way? It doesn't have to be that way, right? So today I want to tell you a story about how we at Gilead recognize the problem and how we at Gilead figure out a way to scale and operationalize Gen AI solution across the enterprise. And Gilead Sciences, we are a biopharma company. We're in a regulated industry. How do we do that while maintaining security compliance in a very, very well-controlled industry? Okay. So here's what we would unpack today. Number one, I'm going to talk a little bit about the evolution of AI and the Gen AI inflection point in biopharma. And why does it matter? Okay. And then we're going to talk a little bit about why is it that most Gen AI initiatives fail to see the light of production, despite the wow demo, despite how easy it is today to build a Gen AI solution. Okay. And we're going to dive a bit deeper into the Gilead strategic approach to this problem. We start from there, right? And then how is it that the platform that we are building, right, adhere to that approach and help solve the problem for Gilead at scale in how to ensure that you start doing Gen AI solution the right way to the point where the effort to bring it to production is going to be minimal, right? Now, we don't stop there, right? Through the Gilead's approach, through our platform, how do we scale the innovation through building an ecosystem for Gen AI, for Agenda AI? And I'm gonna give a quick summary on our journey to enable Agenda AI ecosystem in Gilead together with some lesson learned. So that's all I'm going to cover today. So before we delve deep into the technical details a bit about Gilead, right? We are a biopharma company. We were founded in 1987, 3 years after I was born. Now, we are a company of 18,000 employees, spanning across 35 plus countries. We share one purpose: to create a healthier world for all the people, right? Now, our mission is this. Our mission is to discover, develop, and deliver innovative therapeutic for people with life-threatening diseases. Now, if you look at our journey, right, starting from 1987 until today, it kind of tells a story, right? Over the 35 years, we have focused a lot on delivering innovation to treat life-threatening diseases, right? Starting from our pioneering work in nucleotide to the Truvada for HIV treatment, right? To if you go down the list over here, to Sovaldi for hepatitis C treatment, and then to Batavi, to Valkyrie for COVID-19. And recently, if you followed the news, Yatugo, right, what is a once per every 6 month injection for HIV prevention. Now, the reason I start with this is because delivering innovation in treatment for life-threatening diseases is the foundation for all our work in the data and AI. That is the foundation for everything that we do. Okay. All right. So a bit about the evolution of AI capability, right? I mean, we started with traditional AI ML. Okay, what deliver predictive capability, right? And for this, it's helped us to achieve 15 to 20% efficiency gain. So that's incremental, right? Then we move on to Gen AI, which is interesting because it just happened like 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago in the industry, just 2 years, right? Would deliver 40% to 60%, of productivity gain. And through what? Through content generation, right? Through augment human experience, right? With more knowledge, more capability. Now, this year is the year of agentic AI, or even late of last year, right? Where we talk about agent that can act like a human, right? Agent that has the ability to be aware of the context, aware of the environment, right? Have the ability to handle complex reasoning, have the ability to autonomously make decision. And with agentic AI, with agent, we are hoping for 10x capability multipliers, right? Now, but you can see that all of this are built upon one another, and we look at all of this, right? They multiply our capability to transform patient outcome in biopharma, right? So, why does it matter? Right? Let's talk a little bit about some data. Okay. Now, in the AI healthcare market, there has been around $187.7 billion invested in this. Okay, and more importantly, 70% of the biopharma company, they don't just stop experimenting with AI. They are working on drug development discovery with AI. Okay, and there are more important number, right? We're talking about 25% to 90% reduction in drug discovery timeline. We're talking about 10% to 50% improvement on clinical trial efficiency. So let me unpack what this means, right? It's not really about saving time and money. It's not just about that, right? It's about saving lives. Okay, think about this for a second. A patient with cancer, they cannot wait for extra years for us to develop new treatment. A family with members, right, who's on the verge of dying, they cannot wait for 10 to 15 years for new discovery of treatment, right? So if we can compress the time to develop, right, new treatment by 50%, you can see the potential of saving lives is huge. Okay, so that's what matters now. So when you think about all of that, Gen AI in the biopharma, not just about technology, it's about reimagining how we discover, develop, and deliver life-changing medicine. That's why it's important. But let's talk about reality a little bit. Okay, 48 to 80% of Gen AI projects never reach production, and if they're lucky enough to reach production, right, they face huge amount, of effort and cost. I mean, you look at the number, 1 to 5 million average cost per project with 500% to 1,000%, overrun risk. It takes a long time for a prototype, to go into production. Okay, so because of that, we at Gilead, we took a platform-first strategy to reduce the risk associated with Gen AI implementation and enhance the speed of production so that we can gain competitive advantages in the industry in the space of AI and agentic AI. So So let me paint a picture for you, right? It happened to all of us. Happened to me several times, right? I sit in a room or I sit in a Zoom call, and well, I'm fairly impressed with the demo, right? So to me, and most executives they impressed with that, right? Um, and the next question is, when can this go to production? Is it around the corner? Can I see that in production next week, right? And that's when reality set in, right? And here's why. So what you see in the demo is that little box, the LM demo, okay? But to put that in production, to run that reliably, I mean, here's all the questions that we had to ask ourselves, right? How can I optimize for performance? How can I ask a question and get the response right away, right? And how can I be sure that the solution give me the answer with high level of confidence and accuracy, right? And how do I monitor and control the number of tokens so that I can control the cost? How do I do that? And think about the LLM, right? The way it works is more or less like a black box. You can ask the exact same question, uh, multiple times, going to give you a different answer. You have no idea why to give you the answer that way, right? So how do you explain that? And how can you integrate your solution into a business workflow to truly deliver value, right? Um, so many how, right? So many how. Okay. And you think about every single question that I just asked, it is an engineering problem that take months to complete. Months, right? So the reason is this. The reason is not just about, the lack of technology. That's not the main reason. The main reason is the misunderstanding of the level of complexity required to bring a Gen AI from prototype to production. Come from there, right? So talking a little bit about the basics, right? We started a long time ago with MLOps, but as Gen AI became, popular, we're looking into extending the MLOps into the LMOps, right? Model. Because when you think about different dimension of, MLOps and LMOps, I mean, the roles are different, right? In the LMOps, we do have the prompt engineering, we do have the risk analysis as well, right? In case of technologies, besides, common technology like model, data, feature store, we introduce, vector database, we introduce prompt, we introduce chain, etc. Right? When we talk about, the metrics, here's the interesting part. If we think that, model explainability is hard, it's going to be harder with LM. It's going to be a lot harder, right? Um, so how do we overcome all of that, right? And the last thing I want to mention is, I mean, interspace of traditional AI ML, you train your model, cool, right? In the space of LLM, do we want to train out the model, pre-train the model every single time we have a problem? We don't do that, right? So when would we, go with pre-training? When we go with fine-tuning? When we go with, prompt engineering? All of those questions, right? So the LLMOps is a different way of thinking of how can we bring a Gen AI solution from prototype to pilot to production. So here's how we started, right? This is defined at the corporate level, top down, as a guiding principle for us to tackle Gen AI at Gilead. And this is the base for us to use to build the core guiding principle of our platform. So I'm going to walk you through this real quick. Right, there are 6 core guiding principles. Number 1, data and model must run on Gilead Cloud. In Gilead, we use AWS and Azure. This is for cost control, and this is for compliance as well, right? Now, we promote collaboration across the enterprise on domain-specific use cases. Each domain build their own use case. Each domain build their own agents. The reason for that, I'm going to go deeper into that later, is because that's the only way to scale, right? If you think about different business area in a biopharma or in a lot of company, right? We have commercial, we have PDM, we have development, we have research, we have G&A. We don't want to pretend that there's going to be one single body across the enterprise who can understand the business well enough to build all type of Gen AI solution across the enterprise. However, right, we do want to ensure that all of the business area, they use the common infrastructure, the common set of capability so that they can focus on building the solution instead of building the platform again and again and again, right? So needless to say, we focus a lot on business outcome, right? Cost optimization. We fund POC centrally, and through the platform, we charge back, right, to different line of business. And it's very important to charge back because you want people to optimize for cost. You don't want people to, abuse the common funding that we have across the enterprise. And through the platform, we can do that. We follow AI/ML best practices, from the data, from the model to, adopting response by AI practices as well through our AI governance. And that's going to be a topic I will cover, deeper today as well. We do enable model choice. We believe in enabling different model choices for different use cases. And we let the business make that decision through a common guidance that we roll out to the enterprise. And sometimes we get educated by what the business has to discover as well, right? So, enforce legal and security policy. This is very important for us. We do not allow any Gen AI solution to go to production without legal review. And that's a pain. That's a pain in the company, right? When we started with that, which is why the AI governance process that we have rolled out will help reducing the overhead of all of the compliance review. Now, last but not least, very important. We don't stop there, right? We truly believe since day one, the power compile AI, system. There's a white paper for that, right? So essentially, we build an enterprise marketplace for agent, right? An enterprise marketplace for AI tool, so that people can publish, discover, and reuse the agent in the solution. And through adopting, our enterprise agentic framework, and through adopting the agent marketplace, we can build a compiled AI system that has the ability to solve complicated business problem by composing different type of agent for different type of tasks and make them work together. Okay, those are our guiding principle. Now, so from that, we build a core guiding principle as we started our journey to extend the Gilead Enterprise Data and AI platform for Gen AI and agentic AI, right? First thing first, it has to be a Gen AI first architecture, okay? So we focus on vector native data layer. We focus on, agent orchestration, right, as a built-in feature into our framework. We focus on supporting multi-modal data pipeline. We focus on, building inference optimized infrastructure. Then move on to the next item. We believe in supporting the autonomous reasoning about agent, right? And we build that into our framework, right? We don't want deterministic, tied up quote unquote bot, right? That's not the true definition of agent, right? We believe in the continuous learning through, either human in the loop and also through the automated, retraining as well by detecting how the agent be or the Gen AI solution behave in production. Composable intelligence, I just talked about that, right? We believe in the concept compile AI system, and because of that, we enable multiple protocol, right, on our agent marketplace, on our agent agentic framework. We started with MCP, right? It's in production today, and we're working on exploring agent to agent, to enhance the way different agents can be working together, right, in a complicated environment. Now, zero trust AI governance. That's very important, for us, especially in our industry, because it's just not about being dealing with expensive costs when we violate. This is about impacting patients' life as well if we don't do this right. Okay, domain not the scaling. We build the platform in a domain agnostic manner, meaning we don't build a platform so that it can work for just one domain, commercial or developmental research. We build a platform so that it can scale across enterprise, work for all the domain, and scale for all the domain. And I'm going to go into that in detail later. Now, let's go to the platform architecture. Okay, let's start from here. So this is very standard, right? You may have seen this type of slide, as a standard slide from most presentations. I'm going to go through this really quick, right? But I got to set the tone here because the way that we think about building, our Gen AI platform, Agenda AI platform, by extending our Gilead Enterprise Data and AI platform is not so much different from the standard industry way of, layering that through, a different stack that support Gen AI solution. right? Starting with the sales infrastructure at the bottom, right, where we allow people to provision their compliant infrastructure for Gen AI, to the data layer where we support different type of data for Gen AI, right, to the MLOps tooling to support the operationalization of Gen AI, to the application development layer to help reducing the effort for developer to build Gen AI solution and agent, to creating an AI plus hub so that agent Gen AI solution AI model can be discovered and reused across enterprise. And on top of that, we look at the common denominator across the enterprise to be what we call the enterprise AI Gen AI application, right? To tackle common problem so that different business functions do not have to keep building the exact same solution again and again, but focus on what matters for that domain. Okay. So here comes the fun part. It's going to get more and more complicated. So this is a functional architecture of the Gilead DNA platform, right? But before I go deeper into this, at this point in time, you should ask yourself this question. So wait a minute, what is he talking about? Every single time I hear about AI, Gen AI investment, the conventional wisdom is start with a use case. Start with a business use case. Start small and scale that use case up. And until you have a bunch of use cases that you need to scale up, then you go and you build a platform. So why is Gilead doing this? Why do they adopt the platform first approach? It doesn't make any sense, right? So because of that, let me tell you a little bit about the history. It's important, right, to understand the history. 4 years ago, um, we partnered with ThoughtWorks and AWS to adopt what we call a decentralized approach to data and AI management and governance. Okay, and through the adoption, what we try to do is this: we try to let the business function own the creation of data products, AI products, acknowledging that they know about their business domain better than IT, better than any centralized body in the organization. And that's the only way to scale, right? And at the same time, we work on building what we call a self-serve data and AI platform, right? And essentially that platform, it helps different business function to focus on building the solution and let the platform handle the infrastructure, the data and AI capability, the compliance, for them. Okay. And then we also pair that with a federated governance, right? So that we can allow different business functions to not only scale on the data management, but also scale on the data governance. So that's the history. Okay. So over the past, for 4 years, that approach has helped Gilead tremendously, right? To the point where we do have that one centralized platform adopted by all our business within Gilead. All. How many times that you talk to a biopharma company and you see that all the live business, they unify together to work on one common platform? I have not seen that through most of my conference. We're able to achieve that, right? And that is thanks to the great support, from our business, and also all the consulting, the work, the partnership that we've done with ThoughtWorks and AWS, in this case. So that's a story 4 years ago. So that, in a way, give us the foundation, the right foundation. So when Gen AI hit us, right, what we was able to do is this: extend on the existing infrastructure, extend on the existing governance to quickly cover Gen AI, agentic AI capabilities. That's why within Gilead, given our context, it makes sense. It gives us the competitive advantage to take up the platform first approach for the requirement. Okay, right. So now, so how can the platform itself help us, scaling and operationalizing Gen AI solution at scale? So if you look at this diagram from the bottom, to the top, right? At the core of our platform is a construct. We call that a workspace. It's a logical encapsulation of different data, AI, Gen AI services provided by AWS, Databricks, Azure, third-party vendor, doesn't matter. But right now in Gilead, we support all of them, right? Okay, so we put all of that under one logical construct, okay? And we allow for all of those services to be provisioned through a self-serve mode through a Gilead DNA portal. So the moment you have a workspace, what do you have? You have all of those services provisioned and wired together and integrated together. You have access to data, right, that need to be managed through a workflow. You have user access to the infrastructure that is managed through a governed workflow. You have integrated AI governance. You have integrated GxP compliance, which is important in biopharma. You have integrated FinOps. You have high availability by default, you have security by default, you have scalability by default, right? So, and you have also the boilerplate code, the starter kit that follow a proof pattern for different type of use cases in the space of data, AI, and Gen AI, right? That's what you have. Okay, so that is how through the platform people can just focus on the business can just focus on delivering their Gen AI solution in the context of this talk, right? Think about research, scientists. They can just go onto the platform, provision the infrastructure, and they have a production-ready environment to work on their use case from day one. All they do is focus on their work, right? And once it's ready, if they strictly follow, the framework that we have over here, the time it take for them to go to production is in the matter of days and not months. But that's the power of it. Okay. Now, but when we make it so easy for the enterprise to build data AI solution, Gen AI solution, agents, we hit with another problem, right? How do we govern them then? You're going to soon have 1,000 of different tied up, agent across the enterprise. How are you going to govern them? How do you prevent duplication? Right? And we are hitting with that problem today. When talking about agent, not even agent, chatbot, right? I don't even go there, right? There are like 5 different chatbot across the company, even more than that, just to do one thing: document Q&A. And there's nothing special about the document, right? It shouldn't be, file solution in this case. So how do we do that? So so I'm going to talk about, so the solution for that is the AI governance tooling that we have developed on the platform, right? And the solution that we have to promote reusability of agent across the enterprise is the enterprise agent marketplace that I'm going to go to later. But let me talk a little bit about the AI governance first. Here's the advantage that we have, right? That most companies they don't have. By unifying the company, different business function on one common platform, we have one common point of control for AI governance. It's going to be almost impossible for us to do AI governance automation when the company use separate set of tools, right, that don't even work together, that don't even connect properly to that data ecosystem, right? We had that competitive advantage, and that was one of the motivation, 4 years ago when we come up with a self-serve, infrastructure in this case, right? Imagine every single solution across the enterprise. If they want to build Gen AI solution, they got to go onto the platform, provision a workspace, right? And go in there, follow the template, develop their code. That code have no way to go to production without going through our MLOps pipeline, LLMOps pipeline, right? So you have control of everything, right? And through all of that, we can ensure compliance by default, and we can monitor compliance real time as well, right? That's our advantage. So we're taking a three phase approach. In this case, number one, qualify and mitigate, meaning we enforcing, all the relevant AI solution, Gen AI solution, generative AI solution, of course, right, to go through the AI risk assessment on the platform, right? Before they even, is given the infrastructure to work with their solution. Okay, and that risk management, risk assessment is in a way tailored for different domain based on their compliance requirement. And then we bring visibility, to the compliance status through that whole risk, assessment exercise, so that everyone across the enterprise for their domain, they can see how are they doing in terms of compliance, right? Of course, that's the first step, so that people, is motivated to do what's right. And then last but not least, in operation, because we control everything on our platform, we control the MLOps, we control the MLOps, we have a way to inject, our instrument monitoring into the solution. And from that, we have a way to monitor, how the data solution, how the model solution, how the Gen AI solution behave in real time, and flat out anything that is near incompliant, right? So that the business team will take action, before it become a bigger problem. So that's our three-phase approach. In Gilead today, we are piloting this for commercial. We're working on expanding that, to across the enterprise. So this is real. We did, and I want to unpack on that a little bit, right? When we say we build it internally, we leverage, the native capability of, the underlying foundational technology like AWS and Databricks and third-party vendor that we use, but we build an abstraction layer on top that work with all of them. We aim to not build anything that can be provided by a vendor. That's our philosophy, right? So value and outcome, right? We have achieved tremendous success over the past, 4 years, right? On our journey, even though we started with Gen AI, I guess, since last year, Gen AI is this year, but the whole data mesh, the whole, um, AI and data management through a decentralized model, we started that journey since 4 years ago, right? So the metric that you see over here is in a way, represent that type of success. Now, just to summarize, the one thing that's very important that I would love for everyone to take away on the power of our platform is really through the construct of a workspace, right? That encapsulate every single value that you see on the screen, starting from approved pattern for solution to code to CI/CD to all the best engineering best practices to all the compliance by default. All of these are necessary and required, but all of these do not need to be built by the solution team, do not need to be built by the business. It should be provided to them. They should focus on building their solution to solve their business problem. That's the power of the platform. Okay. Now, a bit about the agent marketplace. We talk a little bit about that, but I'm going to unpack on that, right? So we face with a problem that we have so many different tied up, agent across the enterprise that are built in silo, right? That is not even discoverable, even though they all built on the platform, but it's not even discoverable until you surface that, right? So because of that, we have a mandate where if you adopt, the platform to build your agent in this case through the studio, through the agent stanchial, what is a boilerplate code template so that you can spin up your agent really fast, it's gonna follow the common standard that would allow for different agents to work together, right? As of today, we adopt the OpenAI spec, for that purpose, right? And as I said just now, we're expanding, our protocol to supporting MCP for interaction with AI tool from the agent, and also, A to A, so the agent and agent can work together. That's on our pipeline, right? So, but all the agents beyond the platform, given that they follow the standard, they can work together, they will be exposed on the agent marketplace so that they can be discoverable, and there's a request approval workflow so that they can be reused in their business solution. Okay, so think about our agent marketplace as the following. Think about that as an enterprise data catalog for agent plus the ChatGPT and Claude Enterprise that is tailored for Gilead's need. Okay, so I'm talking about the supervisor agent bot that we build in that has the ability to work with any type of agent that we have enterprise. So what it does is you have one single interface, the user can go to there, ask a question, and based on your question, it can route that request to the right agent that you do have access to across the enterprise, right? And it has the ability to orchestrate for these different agents to work together uh, for to satisfy your business need as well, right? So that's what we're aiming to build. And as of right now, we do have a very first flavor of this. The one thing that's so hard for us, to handle right now is the ability for multiple agents to work together, to truly work together. That's what we're trying to crack, and hopefully that's what we're trying to adopt the A to A. Obviously, that's just the tip of the iceberg in this case. Now, you said I have 10 minutes left, right? All right, thank you. Yes. Yeah.
Hello, there we go. Jeffrey Dobin from Dynamo, head of AI transformation. Thank you so much. You mentioned before about explainability and the difference on the ML side versus LLM, and you just showed the LLM ops. I'm curious, how do you define what explainability means on the LLM side? Because obviously there's two different things. So I'm curious, is that around like root cause analysis and how to fix and improve the agentic workflow or something else? What's the definition?
Yeah, so that is an area that require a lot of improvement on our side, right? We have not really deep into the explainability capability on the AM space yet, right? Our philosophy is this, okay? We try to not reinvent the wheel. We try to this space in this space the industry moves so fast, so there's a lot of things that we defer until later and wait for Databricks, AWS, and third-party vendor to crack. And to be very honest with you, we would prioritize Databricks and AWS more than third-party vendor because we know there's no way third-party vendor can compete with them if they put the money into that, right? So a lot of things that we do, if we can defer, we defer that into later. And the RM explainability is something that we defer until later, waiting for a solution from, Databricks and AWS. And I think we did the right thing because in the last submit Databricks itself, they roll out, the LM judge capability, right? What we're looking forward to adopting. So hopefully that answers your question, right? Now, just real quick about this. I don't think I have a lot of time left, and then I want to have some type of question as well. Now, so why do we do what we do, right? Eventually, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to enable a compiled AI ecosystem for the enterprise where different line of business across the Gilead having different business workflow can adopt, our agent OS, can adopt our agent, marketplace, and depending on their business workflow, depending on the number of agents that we have across the enterprise, can build their own guided business workflow, right? But think about the whole process of submitting a document to the regulatory, right? People need to go through the whole process of creating a reg plan, of dealing with the ICF, right? Of navigating the whole submission and through the submission assistant, right? There's a workflow behind that, and our ecosystem allow different business to compose different agents that we have in the enterprise together with different agents that we purchase from your third-party vendor, to turn it into a solution for the business. And we also allow them to build out their customized marketplace that certify their business workflow. However, the requirement is they had to be built on top of our agent OS and agent marketplace so that everything that is built in the enterprise, they are interoperable. Okay. I'm going to summarize our journey really quick, right? So we started with the infrastructure-driven foundation. We started with building out the compliant infrastructure and access to foundational model so that, the company can move their solution. That does include MLOps as well. The solution from prototype to production, within 4 to 8 weeks. Okay. And where we are right now, as I described, is we focus on standardizing the enablement and supporting multiple agent collaboration, right? And we do this through the agent development framework. We do this through the multi-agent orchestration. We do this through rolling out the agent marketplace. And the reason we do this is because we wanna help accelerating the whole process of developing agent across the enterprise, and the results show that we have achieved 75% faster, in AI agent development cycle. And by that, I don't just mean development, I mean develop and move that to production. Okay, so that's where we are. And what we're hoping to achieve with what we have done, right, is phase number 3, where we create, a value-driven agentic AI ecosystem within Gilead. And through this, we would hope, to achieve 10x ROI, right? So we have seen a hint, a hint of value in this space, but I would say it's still early to say, right, within Gilead. However, we strongly believe in our vision of supporting a compiled AI system. Eventually, agent, they're just like human. If you cannot go to one single person, right, expecting that person to fix all the problem, solve all the problem in the world to you, what make you think that one single agent in the world can be better than multiple agents working together, right? So that's our philosophy. Okay. So that's what I have for the presentation. So just summarize real quick a few key takeaway, right? Given the context of Gilead, where we heavily invested in the decentralized data and AI management approach, since 4 years ago, to the point where we have a very robust and strong, self-serve data and AI platform. What makes sense to us is this, right? Invest on the platform first approach, extending the platform so that it can support Gen AI, agentic AI. That's going to give us the competitive advantage. At the same time, promote reusability of agent, solution, pattern across the enterprise so that people don't get excited, going out there and try to create something that, their peer have created, maybe last year or something like that, right? Focus on AI governance as well. Make sure that AI governance is done right from the first day as we roll out our Gen AI solution. And in Gilead, we do that starting from the POC pilot to production. There are different requirements for POC pilot and production, where it's going to get more strict as we go to production. And the reason we go to start with that from the POC, and the reason we can do that is if you do the POC on the platform, by right, you have certified a lot of requirement, right? And if you satisfy some requirement at the POC, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to go to production, right? So in a way, when you do POC on the platform, you don't have to do anything. Okay, when you go to production, you have to do a few more things, right? So that's our approach. And last but not least, focus on enabling the agentic AI ecosystem for Gilead. Let innovation thrive by enabling the organization, by enabling the business. Don't try to centralize the whole creation of Gen AI solution to one single body, across enterprise. That is not going to work, and that's going to prevent innovation. So those are the key takeaways from my talk. And I don't know how many minutes I do have left, but I'm happy to take questions.
We have time for maybe one question.
Sure.
Hi, I just walked in, but I've been listening. My question was about if you can dive into how are you making your data AI ready, whatever that's meaning to you, and what are the current challenges to go do this? Because I get the platform, it makes sense, but there's how do we understand what this data means, and what are your challenges?
Yeah, that's a great question. So going back to what we adopted since 4 years ago, right? We adopted the data mesh approach, and with the data mesh, different business function would own and create what we call data product and have it published on the enterprise data catalog, right? So the data product, by our definition, is a set of table, view, document that can satisfy a very specific business case, meaning it has a purpose in that, right? And it's standardized, okay? Now, so that is data AI friendly type of data product. How do we make it Gen AI friendly? So a few things, right? Depending on the nature of the data. If it is structured data, okay, we would want people to across organization to be able to talk to the data itself to get the insight instead of having another team building BI dashboard, right? And to zoom into that, one of the capability that we have adopted within Gilead is the Databricks Genie AI BI that support that. But that doesn't talk to the data as is, right? The data has to be augmented, with instruction, prompt, sample query. So when I talk about, making the data Gen AI ready, AI and Gen AI ready, I'm talking about ensuring that the data product has the right quality, A. B, add a layer, right, of prompt, instruction, sample query, all by the data product owner who know that the best, so that it can be interacted with, bot or agent in the space of unstructured data. We don't stop there because the agent, they're going to interact with vector database, right? So people focus on creating indexes of the data product, and have it published. That's what we do across enterprise, and that is to be controlled by the data product owner team, right? So hope that answers your question. Okay.
You could thank Nye for his presentation today. If
Thank
you
you.
like this presentation, make sure you like it in the app. I remind people that a lot of people did not do that yesterday. So if you didn't do that for your sessions yesterday, please go back and do that also. It gives us great feedback. And thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And our next session will start in 15 minutes.
If there's any question, you could connect with me on LinkedIn, and then we can talk. I'd be happy to answer any question or learn from you as well. So thank you very much.